I seduced my teacher, ruined his career, and now Reddit's calling me the devil. Am I? Okay, so before anyone jumps into the comments screaming YTA, hear me out. I know this story sounds like something straight out of a trashy Netflix teen drama, but it really happened. And yeah, I was 18, barely, still technically in high school, senior year. Full-blown hormonal chaos, big ego, and absolutely no self-awareness. Mr. W, not his real name obviously, was a 29-year-old English teacher. Young, smart, sarcastic, and a brooding writer who drinks black coffee and hates his life kind of way. Every girl had a thing for him. He'd wear those button-down shirts with the sleeves rolled up to the elbows, and when he'd lean on your desk to help you with your essay, game over. That man could have said, "Your grammar is tragic," and I'd be like, "Yes, daddy, correct me harder." Anyway, I sat in the front row, not because I cared about Shakespeare, but because I liked the view. And he knew it. He had to know. I laughed at all his lame jokes, asked deep questions about the reading, and always wore lip gloss during his class. My friends called it the Mr. W show. I was the main character. I wasn't some quiet nerd in the corner either. I was loud, opinionated, and honestly kind of a handful. I loved attention like it was a drug, and Mr. W, he gave it. At first, it was subtle. Compliments on my writing, light teasing, calling me Miss Wilde instead of my actual last name, which, yeah, pretty on the nose in hindsight. But things shifted after spring break. I posted this pic on Insta, crop top, miniskirt, thigh highs, classic hot girl at the mall pose. Captioned it something cringe like poetry in motion kiss mark because I thought I was deep. A few hours later, I noticed Mr. W viewed my story. Not just once. Like multiple times. Creepy, maybe, but did I eat that shit up? 100%. So I decided to test the waters. Next day in class, I wore the same crop top under my hoodie and accidentally took the hoodie off mid-class. I asked him if he liked poetry. He raised an eyebrow and said, "Depends on the poet." I leaned in and said, "What about modern ones? You know, the kind that post thirst traps and write about heartbreak." He chuckled. I swear I saw him blush. That was the crack in the wall. I slipped through it like a snake. Things escalated fast. I started hanging back after class to talk about my essay. He'd let me stay, even if he was clearly packing up to leave. We'd talk books, life. At one point he said, "You're a lot smarter than people give you credit for," which, okay, might sound innocent, but when a hot teacher tells you you're different from the others, it hits different. And then came the night it crossed the line. We were emailing about a creative writing assignment. Totally normal. But then I made a joke, something stupid like, "Does writing about my love life count as horror or comedy?" He replied, "Depends on who's reading it." I laughed, took a risk, and said, "If you read it, I'd definitely call it romance." He didn't respond for hours. At like 1:14 a.m. he replied, "Careful. Some things shouldn't be written down." Boom. My heart did a full gymnastics routine. From there, it moved to late-night DMs, then texting, then meeting at a cafe one weekend under the excuse of working on my college essay. We sat outside drinking overpriced lattes, talking about books and why he hated his job. He never said anything explicit, but the way he looked at me, different, like he was thinking about it. I was definitely thinking about it. I knew it was dangerous. I knew it was dumb, but I didn't care. I felt powerful, like I was controlling something I had no business playing with, like I had him wrapped around my glossed-up finger. After the third study session, I didn't just kiss him on the cheek. I lingered. I leaned in slow, gave him time to back off. He didn't. He looked nervous but excited. That combo is pure chaos fuel. I kissed him on the mouth, quick, soft, but real. He didn't kiss back, but he didn't move, just looked at me and whispered, "You're going to get me in trouble." I smiled and said, "Only if someone finds out." My heart was racing, not because I was in love or anything gross like that, but because I felt like I was holding dynamite, and it was lit. We didn't talk for 2 days after that. In class, he avoided eye contact like I was radioactive. I loved it. I thrived on that tension. I started writing poems in my assignments that were full of innuendo and personal jabs like, "He wears guilt like cologne and you teach words but forget silence speaks louder." He circled them in red, said "very raw" or "too personal" with a question mark. I kept pushing. I sent him a pic one night, nothing nude but suggestive. Lip-biting mirror selfie. Caption, "Should I add this to my college app? #artsy. He left it on scene. Next morning in school, I passed him in the hallway and he flinched. The control I had was intoxicating, but I didn't realize I'd stopped playing a game. I was starting a fire, because someone else started noticing, someone who wasn't in on the game, and they were ready to blow it up. You ever feel like you're the one in charge of a story, and then halfway through, the plot twists so hard it throws you out of your own damn narrative? Yeah, that was me. 1 second I was playing the temptress. The next, I was drowning in my own drama like a reality TV contestant who thought she was the host. So things didn't cool off after that hallway flinch. If anything, they got messier. Mr. W avoided me in the most dramatic way possible. I'm talking skipping me during class discussions, pretending not to see my hand raised, giving me the most robotic good morning, like I was a ghost that might sue. Which, okay, I get it. He was probably freaking out, but I wasn't. I felt like I had him cornered. Like he'd already stepped too far, and now I was the only one who could decide if the line had actually been crossed. I didn't know whether to be offended or turned on by the fear in his eyes. Anyway, I kept pushing, not out of love or some sick obsession, but because I wanted to win. I didn't even know what the prize was. I just knew I wanted to prove that I could break him, that this polished, tortured soul of a man wasn't as in control as he liked to act. So I upped the ante. I asked him if he could help me revise my personal statement after school. He hesitated. I saw him think it over. Then he sighed and said, "Just this once, my classroom. 4 p.m. boom. I showed up at 4:10 in my tightest jeans and a white button-up. I purposely left one button too low. He looked like he wanted to disappear. I plopped down in the chair across from his desk, pulled out my notebook, with literally nothing written in it, and smiled. He didn't even sit. He stood, arms crossed, like a substitute dad ready to lecture me about boundaries. But then he cracked. We talked. We joked. I accidentally dropped my pen and took my time picking it up. You know, classic cliche moves that only work when someone already wants them to. And he did. He so did. He just didn't want to admit it. Then came the confession. He sat down, rubbed his hands over his face like he was trying to wipe off the entire situation. "I can't do this," he said. "I'm your teacher. This is insane." I looked him dead in the eye. "Then stop letting it happen." Silence. "You're not stupid," I said. "You could have told me to stop 100 times. You didn't. So don't act like you're the victim here." "Yeah, I really said that. Girl boss moment or sociopathic red flag, you decide." He didn't kick me out. He didn't report anything. He just said, "This has to end." And I nodded, like, yeah, sure, whatever helps you sleep at night. But it didn't end. That night he texted me, "Delete our messages." I laughed. Then I screen recorded the whole thread. Not for revenge or blackmail, not yet, just in case, because a girl's gotta stay ready. Things went back to normal, if you can call pretending nothing happened and maintaining constant I fuck tension normal. But then, plot twist, I noticed something weird. He was acting different, not just with me, with everyone. Less chill, more paranoid, jumpy, like he was waiting for something to explode. And then I figured out why. One of the other teachers, a younger one, fresh out of college, cute in a basic target boyfriend kind of way, pulled me aside after class. "You okay?" he asked. I blinked. "What? I've just noticed how Mr. W talks to you. The way you two look at each other, it's noticeable." My stomach dropped. But I played it cool. "Oh, didn't notice anything." He gave me this look. One part concern, one part, "I'm not stupid. Just be careful, all right?" That was the moment I realized someone else was watching, and they weren't playing games. From that day on, I noticed more eyes, subtle glances in the hallway, conversations that stopped when I walked past. The vibe shifted. I wasn't just the loudmouth flirt anymore. I was suspicious. Then came the staff meeting. No, I wasn't invited, obviously, but my friend had an older sister who worked admin, and she spilled the tea like her job depended on it. Apparently, someone had left an anonymous note in the principal's mailbox. Something about inappropriate boundaries, student-teacher dynamics, and concerning behavior. Boom. Bomb dropped. Mr. W didn't come to school the next day. Rumors flew that he was sick, that he'd had a breakdown, that his girlfriend found something on his phone. He had a girlfriend? That he'd been suspended pending investigation. I kept my mouth shut. My phone didn't. It buzzed with messages from classmates, group chats, even people I barely talked to. "Yo, did you hear? WTF happened with Mr. W. Didn't you always stay after class with him?" The walls were closing in, and I wasn't ready to be the villain. I started panicking. I deleted the screenshots, cleared my inbox, unfollowed him on everything, changed my Insta to private. I even texted him, "Are you okay?" He never responded. That silence, it hit harder than anything. Not because I missed him, but because I realized, for the first time, I might have actually ruined someone's life. And I wasn't even sure why I did it. There's a moment right before everything falls apart where the world feels quiet, like the universe holds its breath. That's how it felt walking into school on Monday. No Mr. W again, the chair at his desk, empty, whiteboard, blank, but the tension in the air, thick as hell. You could slice it with a damn protractor. People were whispering, not even trying to hide it anymore. I caught my name at least 3 times before first period. One girl legit pointed at me in the hallway. That's when I knew something dropped. And I was right. During lunch, my friend Jess ran up to me looking like she saw a ghost. She held out her phone, screen trembling. "Did you send this to someone?" she whispered. I looked down. It was one of the screenshots from the texts. The delete our messages one, only it was cropped. It didn't show my name, just his words, and it was already spreading like wildfire in the sophomore Snapchat group, the junior gossip IG page, even Reddit threads from alumni who somehow got wind of it. I felt my stomach cave in. "I didn't post it," I said. "I swear to God, I didn't." Jess didn't look convinced. "Someone did," she said, "and now they're saying he was messaging a minor. That part? That was a lie. I was 18, barely, but legally. But lies don't need truth, they just need fuel." By 7th period, the principal made an announcement. All students are to report to their homerooms immediately. This is not a drill. Everyone knew, even the teachers looked pale. I got called to the office within 10 minutes. I walked in and boom, the holy trifecta. The principal, the vice principal, and the school counselor, sitting there like the damn Avengers of adult disappointment. They asked me to sit. I did. I was shaking, but I tried to look calm. I remembered what my mom once said, "If you look like you know what you're doing, most people won't ask questions." Didn't work here. "Principal, we've received some serious reports about Mr. W. We need to ask you a few questions." I nodded. "Principal, have you ever communicated with Mr. W. outside of school regarding personal matters?" Me. "He helped me with my college essay." Principal. "Did he ever initiate personal or inappropriate conversations with you?" Me, pausing. "Not inappropriate. Just friendly." The counselor leaned forward, voice soft. "We've seen screenshots, my name. We know there was more." That's when my stomach really dropped. More? Someone had more? I stayed quiet. Because what do you even say at that point? Deny it and look guilty, confess and become the headline? They told me I wasn't in trouble, that I wasn't the target, that I wasn't to blame, but their eyes said otherwise. I left the office in a fog. My brain was on static mode. People were watching me, phones out, whispers, stares. Someone muttered teacher F***CKER as I passed. And then my phone buzzed. A text, unknown number. Hope it was worth it. I felt like I was underwater, drowning in secrets I no longer controlled. Later that night, the school sent out an email blast. Mr. W. had officially resigned, effective immediately, pending a full investigation. It was over, except it wasn't, because the fallout wasn't just about him. It was about me. That week was pure hell. People I thought were my friends started ghosting me. Teachers avoided eye contact like I was radioactive. My locker got graffitied. Someone wrote "ho" across it in red Sharpie. Real mature. I overheard someone in the bathroom say I ruined a man's life for clout. Meanwhile, the DMs were insane. Strangers messaging me everything from "icon" to "you're sick." Guys from other schools trying to slide in. Some weirdos asking for the full screenshots. Like this was some celebrity scandal. One night I opened my story replies and saw someone had sent a clown emoji. Then another. Then like 30. People started tagging me in TikToks. Memes. One had my face photoshopped next to a jail cell with the caption, "Queen of Ruining Lives." Funny how fast you go from invisible to infamous. But the worst part wasn't any of that. The worst part was when my mom found out. It started when I came home to her waiting in the kitchen, phone in hand, that death glare only moms can do. "Sit," she said. I sat. She pulled up the Reddit post. Cropped screenshot. The comments. "What the hell is this?" I froze. It's not what it looks like." She raised her eyebrow. Classic mom level 10 disappointment mode. "Then explain it, now," so I told her. Not everything, but enough. That we'd talked. That it got complicated. That people twisted things. That I didn't post anything. That I didn't mean for it to blow up. She didn't yell, didn't scream. She just sat there, quiet. And somehow that was worse. Eventually, she said, "You know what this looks like, right? You know what people will assume." I nodded. "You could have ruined your future, college, everything." Yeah, I knew. But that didn't stop it from happening. After the Reddit post, the memes, the hallway stares, and my mom's silent wrath. You'd think I'd lay low, right? Nope, because when you burn everything down, sometimes you walk into the flames. The day after Mr. W officially resigned, he texted me. I was lying in bed, phone on my chest, drowning in doom scrolling and TikToks roasting me. My lock screen lit up. "Are you okay?" My heart stopped. I didn't even think, just typed back, "Not really." Seconds later, "Do you want to talk?" And I said yes, because I wasn't thinking straight, because I wanted closure, or revenge, or control, or maybe just someone who didn't look at me like I was radioactive. Maybe I wanted to prove something to myself, that I still had power, that I wasn't just the punchline in someone else's story. We met at his place. It was a sad little apartment, cheap furniture, takeout boxes, that stale air of a man who stopped trying. He looked wrecked, hoodie, bloodshot eyes, face like a man whose life had been dragged across Reddit and stomped on by angry parents, internet mobs, and the school board. We didn't do the awkward hey or hug thing. He just opened the door, moved aside to let me in, then slumped onto his couch like he was already defeated. "You okay?" he asked, barely above a whisper. I sat across from him. "No," I said. "You?" He shook his head, laughing once, bitter. I lost everything. There it was. The guilt hit different when he said it out loud. I wanted to say me too. But that would have been a lie. I still had school, my bed, a future, maybe a shaky one, but it existed. He had this couch, and whatever savings he hadn't burned yet. We sat in silence for what felt like forever. No tension, just wait, like the air itself was mourning. Then he spoke again. "You should hate me," I shrugged. "I don't." "Why not?" he asked. I looked him dead in the eye. "Because you never had power over me." "Not really." He flinched a little that one cut. I didn't even mean it to, or maybe I did. Maybe part of me wanted him to feel it, just like I had to feel every whisper and stare and DM calling me a slut or a liar or both. I stood up, crossed the room, sat beside him, close, too close. His breath hitched. "This is stupid," he said. I nodded, yeah, but neither of us moved. He leaned in first. That's the part one won't sugarcoat. He kissed me, not soft, not gentle, just real, like we were both drowning and decided to share the last gulp of air. Clothes came off fast, clumsy, nothing cinematic. Just two people tangled in a disaster they couldn't stop replaying. His hands on my back, mine in his hair, mouths everywhere, no words, just heat, shame, desperation. It wasn't love, it wasn't even lust. It was closure through chaos. Two grenades colliding because we had nothing left to lose. It wasn't pretty, it was real. After, we lay there in silence, his chest rising, falling, mine too, my head on his arm, eyes on the ceiling, wondering if this was the point of no return or if we'd already passed that miles ago. "I'm sorry," he whispered. I didn't answer right away, just stared at the cracks in the ceiling paint like they had answers. Then I said, "Me too." But I wasn't, not really, because I finally felt like I'd taken back control. Like I'd finished the story on my terms. That night, for better or worse, I wasn't the victim. I wasn't the villain. I was the author. When I left, he didn't walk me to the door. He just laid there, eyes closed, like he couldn't bear to watch me go. And I didn't look back. I walked home in silence. No music, no texting, just the sound of my own footsteps. I wasn't crying. I wasn't shaking. I felt neutral, numb. Like everything that needed to happen already had. Like I had just turned the last page of a book I'd been writing for months and finally closed the cover. That night, I deleted our old messages, every last one, not out of fear, but because I didn't need them anymore. I wasn't keeping receipts. I wasn't keeping trophies. School never addressed what happened publicly, but people kept whispering. Some believed I seduced him. Some believed he preyed on me. Most didn't care either way. They just wanted something juicy to gossip about. And I let them. I let them make up whatever story they wanted. Because deep down, I knew the truth was too messy for anyone to fully accept. It didn't end with justice or redemption. It ended with silence, with two lives completely derailed. And the weirdest part, I'm okay with that. I'm not a hero. I'm not a victim. I'm not a monster. I'm just a girl who made a series of messy choices and watched the dominoes fall. I manipulated him, yeah, but he let me. I crossed lines. So did he. I ruined his career. But he opened the door. I didn't force him to walk through it. So what am I? YTA, maybe, NTA, also maybe. Truth is, sometimes we're just taught to each other. So Reddit, be honest. AITA?